Yesterday, I was watching a video about Final Fantasy VII and why the ending ended the way it did and stuff like that. And it was from a channel called Subtext, right? And really, I was watching it through Maximilian Dude's video of it like a day or two ago, right? Because I wanted to know what was being said and essentially how did the conclusion happen? Why should we feel the way we feel? And it goes into a very good job of questions I had. Like, what's the point of remaking a whole series when barely anything changes? And for that video, it was really dang good. It was essentially proper and peak, if I'm going to be honest. Like, I agreed with a lot that was going on, and it made me even think about my own dang series and how maybe how the ending should go, because I have an idea as to what could happen at the very end of my own JSX4 series. And plenty of good things came from that video, right? So overall, it was very solid for our FF7 video, right? Really damn good at explaining what Rebirth is trying to do, why you feel the way you do at the end of the game. However, there is one part of that video that when it started to get, tossing around other games, and obviously Kingdom Hearts, as you can kind of see in the title and stuff like this, when it comes down to it, it irked me. And it irked me because the whole video was very well informed, put together, cited very well. And again, this ain't really going to be a video where I'm just like, oh, let's bash this guy and all that type of stuff. That's not what this video is about. It's just about that when it came down to it in that video itself, basically Subtext was talking about how, they haven't jumped into something like Kingdom Hearts and haven't looked at other Square Enix kind of like IPs and stuff. And when it comes down to Kingdom Hearts, he heard from people that played the game saying things like, oh, Kingdom Hearts, at least Kingdom Hearts 3, had like a happy ending and things of sort like that. And ultimately we're just like, well, that's not what Final Fantasy VII does and stuff like that. And try to basically kind of explain and elaborate why FF7 feels the way it does and why Part 3 will probably feel, in the same sort of vein as what they're trying to do in terms of what the developers have said and stuff like that before. When I say I was kind of mad when they went into that tangent of Kingdom Hearts and just straight up said, oh, it has a happy ending, Kingdom Hearts is a happy game, or at least gave that vibe that that's what they were trying to, say. And granted, he has never played a Kingdom Hearts game, and I'm not necessarily going to sit here and just be like, and sit here just straight up bash the person. But at the same time, again, have all these fine details of all the stuff only for that one little section at the end of the video to come through and say, oh, I haven't played it, but Kingdom Hearts sounds like a happy time. It rubs me the wrong way. And the reason why it rubs me the wrong way is, if we really think about it, Kingdom Hearts don't have a lot of happy endings, right? It doesn't. I know there's a lot of misconceptions with Kingdom Hearts and what people feel and how they kind of think of the game because, oh, it's a Disney game, it's for kids. It feels this way. It's supposed to be happy. Yes, you're gonna have happy moments in there. Yes, there is a level of cheese that Kingdom Hearts has that is just traditional, cheese of what you would expect. That being said, Kingdom Hearts is pretty dark, or at least it has its moments of being dark, and when the end of the games happen, they're usually not happy endings. Only one game, if I'm being honest, has a happy ending, and if it ended there, that would have been a perfect nice little tie up of everything of what Kingdom Hearts was trying to do, right? But let's just keep it a stat. Let's look at these games in order, right? Kingdom Hearts 1, you beat Ansem at the end of the game. Congratulations. However, you're separate from Kairi now. And now you gotta go on your journey to find where Riku is. And still everybody is basically apart and separated. Kingdom Hearts 3 Chain of Memories, you had Nominated come through. And essentially, you was forgetting stuff in Castle Oblivion a lot of the dang time. And you had to be, once again, put to sleep to kind of figure out your memory situation and Nominate sorting that stuff back together. Then you get something like Birth by Sleep, where you had that whole trio that just gone through a bunch of nonsense in that game, where everybody basically ended up in a worse position than they ever had before. where, you know, Aqua fell into the realm of darkness. Terra got his body taken over by Xehanort. You know, Ventus is kind of just still within Sora's heart and had to get mended up because Vanitas destroyed that bitch. It was a rough ass time. Kingdom Hearts 358 over 2, that whole organization trio with Shion, Axel, and Roxas, that was a whole nother pretty bad situation where, you know, two of the characters in that trio wasn't meant to exist. They weren't even supposed to be there, with Shion basically giving herself up back to Sora so, you know, Sora can wake up, and then Roxas basically getting pissed about the whole situation, dipping off of the damn, you know, friendship and the organization, trying to fight Riku's ass because Riku's trying to bring Sora back, but obviously Roxas just want to live his own life that he never really had in the first damn place, and essentially kind of got screwed over in a lot of different ways. Got his ass beat by Riku, got put into a whole fake data version of Twilight Town, and even when that happened and, you know, thinking, oh, things might be the best for him, still, in Kingdom Hearts 2, he ends up just going back to Sora anyway, and really kind of showing off that, damn, at the end of the day, you were just basically living a life that you weren't supposed to, because this other kid's supposed to wake up, not you supposed to be having a life. And that's just ultimately how it is. Even though Naminé said, yo, we'll come back together at some point, that doesn't necessarily give me hope that things will be okay if I was in that position, right? Kingdom Hearts 2, possibly the only time where we had a decent little wrap up of things, right? Where, you know, Sora, Kairi, and Riku are actually together finally after all that time. But even then, you still had the whole thing with Roxas and Naminé. Sure, that was in Sora and Kairi's body, but that doesn't necessarily mean that, oh, everything is perfectly fine and everything's gonna be just okay, right? Not necessarily. What else? What other games can I mention? There's 0.2, the Fragmentary Passage, where you play as Aqua in the whole Realm of Darkness, and you're basically just seeing how much of a mental toll that one place took on her. You're thinking she's just there for a couple of weeks, maybe a few days, when it's realistically been a decade's time of being stuck in that place, and mentally she's about to give up. Honestly, that's just kind of how Aqua's existence was for the entire time until Kingdom Hearts 3, which, yeah, not fun. It really isn't fun. And considering how when she finally got out, she was still questioning if she got out for real or not, that tells you, yeah, she was stuck there for a good ass minute of time. Again, Aqua been through some shit, so it's not really all that great. Dream Drop Distance, you basically had, you know, Sora get his whole ass basically bodied and kidnapped by the organization, almost turned into a vessel for Xehanort, but, you know, ultimately got saved. But still, at the end, even though they played it off as like, oh yeah, we're hanging out with the Dream Eaters, this is gonna be a fun time, but ultimately, you still had Sora kind of lost his power, which led up to Kingdom Hearts 3, and as we kind of see at the end of that damn game, there's multiple things that happened. Yes, there was a whole beach party, and everybody had a good-ass time, but ultimately, the jaw-dropping moment was Sora fading the hell away. We don't know where the hell that bitch was for a minute, until a year later when the DLC came out. Then this man starts to just actually go into, you know, a death world, basically the afterlife, and essentially meeting up with someone that looks like Noctis from Final Fantasy Versus 13, and got his ass beat, and turned to Crystal, and now he's stuck in a whole different world that's different from his own reality, and we don't know what the hell's happening. So once again, the original trio is kinda split the hell up, because Riku gone after and Kairi had to stay behind for training. Again, Kingdom Hearts is not happy endings galore, right? Again, Disney game, yes, you're gonna have happy moments, yes. That being said, that doesn't mean everything ends up being a happy ass time. It's not that. Tons of people will not jump into Kingdom Hearts because they oftentimes think, oh, it's just a kid's game, it's too damn cheesy and all that sort of stuff. Not really. Yes, you're gonna have the stuff that will be happy, and that's perfectly fine. It's a Disney game, believe in the magic and all that stuff, that's what it's supposed to do. That being said, not every part of that is going to be just a happy bit of time, and just, oh, we can solve things with the power of friendship and the Keyblade, because sometimes it just doesn't end up like that. As much as we like to spam the whole, power of the Keyblade and my friends are my power type of, storytelling at times, there is times where that junk is challenged. Like, for example, when Sora was fighting in the Keyblade Graveyard in Kingdom Hearts 3 and saw everybody he know pretty much get torn apart by darkness in whatever way possible, he broke down. He basically screamed out like, "Holy shit, I'm in pain. Someone give me some Aleve, please." And was basically calling himself worthless because he couldn't do shit on his own. Which I know for the collective community of people that, enjoy Kingdom Hearts, they don't like this scene, but I genuinely kind of do. And the reason why for that is because it's kind of true. Like, let's keep it very much a stack. Yes, could Sora realistically fight these people on his own? Most likely. But at the end of the day, that's not what happens in the story. Think about it. Kingdom Hearts 1. At the end of that game when he's about to fight Ansem, he dead ass had to go out his way to, see this shit, and then got Goofy and Donald taken away from him. He was basically falling hard as hell. It probably would have kept falling forever if it wasn't for Riku somewhere and somehow in shape and form coming through being like, "Hey bitch, wake up. I know you're stronger than that." And he's like, "Oh damn, my bro said that. So you know what? You're right. I'm gonna beat this weird ass demon thing." And that's kind of how it was for him. The same kind of way where it was also like that in Kingdom Hearts 2, where he had to fight Xemnas. He didn't do that junk alone. He had Riku there. So, of course, he wasn't necessarily alone in all this, right? But then when it came down to Kingdom Hearts 3, after seeing a bunch of the people that he knew getting yeeted in all sorts of directions and, taken down in all sorts of ways, who, if that was your real life friends or your friends just entirely or people that you cared about, would you not feel the same way? Like all this shit feels a bit hopeless and you can't really do anything, right? That's kind of like the whole reason why he broke down. So honestly, I kind of like that scene because it kind of just shows you that, yeah, as much as he could do stuff on his own, still he always had people by him. And seeing people like that getting torn apart and he couldn't do anything about it or he didn't know how to handle the situation, it's a little interesting, honestly. Right? Now, granted, he does defy fate and kind of, do a lot of time travel nonsense where, that's something obviously Cloud can't do in his game, where Cloud's just meant to suffer. He was born to suffer. He was created to suffer because that's just the role Cloud is. And Sora's going to be like, nah, F that. I could just time travel and save my friends. But still, it all still came at a cost where he just doesn't exist in that universe anymore. And ultimately, that's what ended up happening to him. So still, it's still again not a happy ending. Because now Sora's in a world that he does not know. He's surrounded by people he has never seen before, and he doesn't necessarily know what to do outside of just continue doing what I've always done, and that's to beat the shit out of the big scary Heartless. That is essentially all he really can do. And that's just, talking about Sora and the endings as a whole. I haven't talked about the entirety of the other stuff that happens in Kingdom Hearts. Like, for example, child experimentation that Ansem the Wise has conducted and done. And sacrificed a lot of children in the name of research. And things of the sort like that. As well as, kind of locking kids up into those type of chambers underneath Hollow Bastion and all that sort of stuff. So, that's pretty damn dark for a Disney game. Or what about the damn deaths that happen in Castle Oblivion and Rechain of Memories, or just Chain of Memories? With, Vexen's death, or, Replica of Riku kind of just bodying the shit out of literally, Zexion, or however the hell you say his name and whatever, right? Like, there is tons of things that happen that isn't just a happy time. Yes, you have the Disney coat of paint on it. Yes, you will most likely see Sora smiling and being happy because that's genuinely just how he is. That being said, is it always like this? No, not really. And even if, yes, characters can quote unquote die like Goofy did back in KH2 when he got hit with that boulder, and you're thinking that he's dead, or at least a kid would, not really an adult because you should know better than that. But when it comes down to it, it still is a moment where it's like, damn, that is some dark shit. I wasn't expecting that, right? And it has even plot points where it just challenges Sora at times. Like the best plot point that I've seen in the entirety of the series, at least for me, was when he found out, oh shit, I can't keep killing Heartless because if I do, I keep releasing them to the enemy's hands, and ultimately that's just helping them. So, am I doing all this for nothing? Like, should I keep saving people? Sure, it was only touched upon briefly and really didn't, contribute to much of anything within the story. But still, it was a moment where he had to question himself and try to figure things out. So, again, Kingdom Hearts actually can cook. It knows what it's doing, right? And even though people will pretend to say, oh, it doesn't know what it's doing, or it's not necessarily a feasible thing, you gotta realize, even if you don't like Nomura and his writing style of stuff, he does know how to let shit sit for a while and then let that shit cook for a good 20 years, right? For whatever reason, man, even back in KH1, understood that yes, Sora was gonna end up in this predicament of going to Quadratum at some point in time. We don't know how, but he got there at the end, so it was a 20-year cook. Or how about adding the inclusion of Versus 13? He didn't get the chance to do it in his own game, so he's going to, implement Nomura's revenge here. And that's just ultimately what we're going to see in Kingdom Hearts 4. And hopefully we'll see it at some point soon, because I'm kind of tired of not seeing the damn trailer. But, that's just how it is. Like, my whole point is, I'm not trying to say that, that video that I was referencing in the beginning of this video is, like, bad or anything, or even trying to, go out my way to be like, oh, Kingdom Hearts is this overly dark video game that, it's brutal and all that type of stuff, because obviously it's not. But it's not always happy. It's not always fun for the characters to go through certain things, right? And that just how it is. That's why it retained its audience for 20 years, because it's not a happy joy time. It's having real shit that's in there that's very messed up. And I haven't even mentioned the damn mobile games, which arguably has a lot more darker shit in there than a lot of the stuff that you get in typical Kingdom Hearts fashion, right? Like, there's tons of stuff, like the Keyblade War itself, or, essentially the fact that you had, like, I don't know, the fact that, yes, you had, like, what's a crazy thing that happened in any of the mobile games? Oh, the fact that Xehanort's whole crew back in Dark Road kind of got because of, shenanigans and whatever, and they kind of got killed off, like, on screen, and it's kind of crazy. Or it's talking about the dead other Keyblade wielders that I was trying to find in that game, and just plenty of other stuff that just happens ultimately, right? So again, there's dark things that just does happen within this series. And again, it's not always just fun. Even though it has the Kingdom Hearts Disney coat of paint, it still has crazy shit that just happens. And to keep it very much stacking out, ended with this too. As much as Final Fantasy characters or players essentially enjoy their game, and FF7 try to be like, it's our series, our stories is actually, pretty serious. We deal with serious topics. Yeah, so does Kingdom Hearts. And let's keep it very much a stack with each other. Y'all both have the same or in fair amount of cheese on both games, where the live stream deals with, oh, memories and then the hearts. Guess what other game deals with that? Kingdom Hearts. So you ain't avoiding of any sort of cheese there and cheesiness and stuff like that. You're getting silly shit in there too, just as much as Kingdom Hearts. Maybe not nearly as much, but you're getting silly shit in there too. And let's just keep very much a stack. It's not necessarily anything to be ashamed of, or it's embarrassing or anything like that. That's fine. That it is what it is. But ultimately, also at the same time, I don't want to just see people just bragging on either game, trying to be like, oh, it's better than that game or whatever, because both of them are cheesy as shit. Let's just be real, So ultimately, I, again, didn't make this video to be trying to attack the first video, because that's not what I wanted to do, because I genuinely do think that video is really damn good for FF7 stuff. But in terms of what they try to, do for Kingdom Hearts, and the lack of research on that part kind of irritated me, I'm not gonna lie. And I just kind of wanted to talk about that, because I don't think anybody has really brought up the fact about Kingdom Hearts in this sort of way. And when it comes down to it, I just wanted to point this shit out, because again, so many people think, oh, this shit is very convoluted and stuff like that, and it's not really as dark at all. if you played the games and tried to sit here and play it and understand what's going on, you'll realize, oh, it's not that complicated. And when it comes down to it, it's actually pretty in-depth for a kid's game. So to keep it very much a stack, yeah, there's a lot of stuff in there that's pretty damn good. Again, for a kid's game, that keeps people on their toes. So it's fair to say Kingdom Hearts, I think, earns its respect for what it is. But ultimately, that's what I wanted to really sit here and talk about, because that junk kind of bothered me last night watching that video. Again, very good video, but just the Kingdom Hearts section is what I had a problem with, right? But ultimately, that's really all I want to say for this one. So hopefully you did enjoy. If you did, be sure to like, share, subscribe, hit the bell notification on the way out, also on socials, and if you'd like to donate to the channel, Kofi and Cash App is available as well. And until then, it's your boy Jay, signing off. Have a blessed day.